Welcome to our live this week. We're going to talk about what questions you should be asking if you are purchasing a Pilates chair or which Pilates chair is right for you. So if you have questions about chairs, anything can be like super selfish, drop it in the comments below. So um, we are less than 30 days away from the winter tour. And you guys, at almost every city's workouts are sold out. There's like 3 cities left that you could actually still get a workout ticket in. So if you want to take a class with me in person, you want to go to opc.me/tour. Our workshops are filling up very fast. And something that's important to know is that our workshops are not just for teachers, our workshops are for clients as well. Because the more you understand Pilates for your body, the more you're going to get out of the classes you go to. So it's going to make every class you take, no matter who the teacher is, more beneficial to your body and more effective. So I would love it. Last week, we felt like there was a little weird situation going on because Mercury's in retrograde. If you are watching this live, can you type in the chat where you're watching from? Because that way I can see that something is working. So, well, Brad can see. Brad will tell me. So let's dive into the chairs. First of all the Pilates chairs are in the chairs flashcard deck. You can buy these from onlinepilatesclasses.com. So go to opc.me/flashcards. And most of it is a Wunda chair. I know you're looking at the armchair and the high chair and thinking, oh, I don't need that section of the deck. You're going to get them because in case you ever see one of these at a yard sale, because someone has no idea what they inherited, you will have the cards to do it. Okay. And also, this is one of my favorite pieces. If you follow me on Instagram this week, I did a workout that takes 3 minutes on this high chair. I am obsessed with it. Hang tight because Contrology is releasing their high chair in Q1 of 2026, and you can use my discount link for that. So just hit us up in Q1 when that releases. Okay, so what should you be asking yourself? Well, so the question is, if I only have room for one chair, which chair should I buy? The Wunda chair. Why? Because the Wunda chair has over 70 exercises and the variations you can do on it. I personally like the Contrology chair based on how heavy the chair is. A lot of Wunda chairs out there, especially crappy ones you'll see on Amazon, on infomercials, are too lightweight. And so I really am concerned about the size of the body going on the chair. So I like the Contrology chair because it is not easy to carry around from room to room, but it's quite stable. I also like the heavy springs because they're nice and supportive for the body. So you don't want a chair that has really light springs, especially if you are in a larger body or maybe you're a bodybuilder. Like, you are going to need more supportive springs when you're practicing the chair. So if you only have room for one, you only have budget for one, you're going to want to get the Wunda chair. Okay. So let me also show you how this works. There's a lot of Wunda chairs out there. If you already have a Wunda chair and you're like, can I use the chair stack or your tutorials? Yes, you can. You'll see I don't have a cactus setup, which a lot of chairs have. Look, Balance Body is a big sponsor of me. So they make these as well as a lot of other companies. I'm not a fan of the cactus set up to the center because it puts the springs here in the middle of the pedal right here. And as a person who doesn't like certain textures, that just bothers me. So if you have sensory integration issues like I do, I prefer when the springs attach to the side of the back of the chair, because then the springs aren't touching my body. You're getting to know a lot about me today. Anyways, so that's the Wunda chair. Usually they'll run around $1,200 to $1,300. Obviously, prices always go up. This wood is really quite nice. If you're seeing them used, you do want to ask lots of questions about how long the springs were used for. Do you need new springs? The other thing you want to make sure of is the type of Pilates you're going to do on the chair matters. So if you are going to do more contemporary trained exercises, you are going to want a more contemporary chair. So you're going to want to be looking at the different chairs that Balance Body makes, and my discount will work for any of those. But just know that if you're wanting to do contemporary, you might feel limited on the Contrology chair because it does not come with a split pedal. I was not taught on a split pedal. Joe Pilates did not teach on a split pedal, so I don't feel limited on this chair. But it depends on how you're trained and also what exercises you want to do on it, right? I just love this one, especially if you're not a teacher. I love this one because it's less complicated, less things to think about, really easy to set up, really easy to follow and use. Okay, let's say you actually have room in your budget for 2 chairs, or you have access to a Wunda chair at a studio. Then I would say you want the armchair, also known as the baby chair. I prefer the Contrology one because it has 2 settings, so I can make this chair steeper. What do you want? So I can make this chair steep, so that, see that incline, that's a little easier. I can make it deeper. We call it the way back, like that. Okay. So I really like that. There's Brad. Ah! All right. So there we go. It's like the price is right over here. Um, so anyways, I like the armchair. If you have access to a Wunda chair at a studio that you go to and you want to have a chair at home for yourself, this is really great. We leave ours in the living room and it's really nice to sit in and read a book, as well as do your exercises. Now, these light springs here, and I say light because they are lighter than your arm springs are going to be in on the Cadillac and also on the pedipole. They're a lighter spring. They're really helpful for teaching the arm back connection. This chair is really helpful for teaching a tall back that you need in Pilates. Really great for posture. If you see an armchair out there for sale and it doesn't move, please skip that armchair. I don't know how to teach you on it. None of my exercise videos will work on it because if the chair is stable and you're pulling the spring, it's actually going to get harder as you get further away. When this chair moves, the tension of the spring stays the same. So you're really working on connecting your arms to your center. Love this. We have a 15-minute workout video here on the channel if you have an armchair. And while there's not a ton of exercises that I know of from Joe, if you do have an armchair and you're wanting to nerd out, like you just think it's the coolest thing some sliced bread, then 𝐒𝐤𝐤 is the person you want to learn from. She had a really bad car accident and she got a lot more education, information, exercises than anyone else because of her accident. Now, here's the thing. Not every exercise on a piece of equipment is for everybody. The armchair definitely. So the exercise I include in the flashcard deck and in our tutorial videos here on this channel are like exercises everyone should do because they'll help prepare you for the reformer. They'll help prepare you for your mat. They'll help challenge your Cadillac. So that's the armchair. Get that if you have access to a Wunda chair. Also, if you have any back issues, like if flexion is not something that you're able to do a ton of, we have a couple OPC members who love their armchair because they have fusions. And so the armchair really allows them to get a lot of exercises in without flexing their spine. There are a few, but not as many. Okay, Brad, are we in camera? Great. So this is, huh? Great. So this is the high chair. The springs are heavier than all the other chairs. There are two levels of hooks, and a lot of people say you're only supposed to use a high-low. Jay Grimes taught me, he's like, studied with Joe Pilates, it's like, why would Joe give you two levels if he didn't want you to use them? So you can change the spring setting. Um, it has a little seat you can take away. Again, teaches that tall back with the legs being part of it. So tall back with the arms being part of it, tall back with the legs being part of it. And you can do everything on the high chair except for two exercises on the Wunda chair. So if you have the chair stack, we actually teach you how to make your Wunda chair feel like a high chair, feel like it has a back. And so I highly recommend grabbing that deck if you, again, only can have a Wunda chair. This beast. There's two exercises you cannot do, and you can see it's because they have these handles. Now, something really important is that these handles go all, huh? No, I'll go off. I'm gonna, no, they can look at my Instagram. I did a whole thing. All right. Brad is demanding things. Hold on. So, is this on? Okay. So you can't do this on the Wunda chair. Okay. You can't, do these things. You need to have the handles. It's important that the handles go all the way to the floor because it saves the length of your chair life. If your handles only go halfway and they're pulling on the wood of your chair, eventually that wood's going to fail. So I like any company where the pull goes all the way down and then you can't do this one, right? And then there's more gymnastics things you can do. So that's what you can't do on the Wunda chair, but if you have access to a Cadillac, you can mimic some of those exercises. So there's ways of getting it, but I think again we get really obsessed. Like I have to have every exercise in my body. Not necessarily, not every exercise is for everybody. So the question to ask yourself is what is my goal and what do I have access to? If you have access to a studio with a Wunda chair, then what is your goal? Is it more arm back connection and your center, or is it more legs? And then, yes, of course, the impressive dips, which are really fun to do. Is that what you want? How much space do you have? This This actually, I don't think takes a lot of space. I don't know that anyone noticed I moved it to the kitchen this week, but I did. I really like it in there. It's really easy to use. This chair doesn't take a lot of space, and it's in my living room as a piece of furniture. But everyone has a different like way of decorating. You know, not everyone decorates with Pilates equipment. So that's what I would ask myself. And then the other thing is like, what's your budget? Please, please, please do not, this is really important, and people get really mad at me in my comments saying like I'm like not helpful. I don't want you wasting your money on $400 pieces of Pilates equipment. No. Like I want you, if you want to get equipment for your home, I want you to save up your money. I want you to get quality pieces where the cost of it, the investment of it lasts forever, if not goes up in price. And I want you to have it for your whole lifetime of Pilates. I don't want it to be something that gets tossed in the garage and rusts on you. Like I really want to be part of your life, right? So I always will default that if you have less than $1,000 to spend on your Pilates equipment, you get a spine corrector and you go to a studio to have access to these. All right. Brad, did I miss anything? Well, this this is not Contrology yet because theirs won't come out until Q1. So in Q1, when theirs comes out, this will be gone and we'll have a Contrology one. I am not sharing the brand of this one because I don't want you to have a terrible experience shopping with them. And there are many companies, so don't think it's not the one you're thinking. It's a different one. Yep, they all kind of suck. So so I'm not gonna put you to that because by the time you get it from them, the new one from Control will be out, and you'll actually have a Contrology one. So I just would wait. Yeah, you have an exo chair. So exos are great. They're great. Often people use them because high shields, because they are lightweight. That being said, especially for my fun size folks, the pedal on an exo chair starts way up here, which makes it really difficult when you're doing standing exercises because the pedal starts in a way that your hip is hiked up. And so you almost have to start down and then you have more to control. So it's not my favorite angle. That being said, remember, you have to choose a chair based on the style Pilates you're doing. Exo chairs were definitely created for contemporary equipment, contemporary exercises, and so they have a great purpose. But if you're looking for Contrology, if you can't use my discount because you've already used it or it hasn't been 2 years, the other thing I would suggest is look at their sales section. Every once in a while, a little dinged up chair ends up on there and you get it for a couple $100 off. Stephen, Stephen Devine, hello. I love your last name, by the way. Was that? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I had a Gratz. What I would say is if you're not in the mood of buying a new chair because you have a legitimately fine chair, is the top of your chair is too squishy. So get it reupholstered with really dense foam. I mean, I would just go to a upholsterer and get dense foam on here. Um, the springs are fine on that. The pedal's a little different. But you can, if you change the cushion, you would actually feel a lot, you'd have a lot more steadiness in going up front, going up side, mountain climber. So my big thing there is I don't like the squishy pedal. And I also don't like, so it's hard to see, like this little divot. Can you see that? No, Brad's saying you can't see it. Okay, hold on. Okay, do you see? Do you see this little divot here? So a Gratz just goes out like this. Okay, let's happier with that, we think. So this divot makes frog facing in a lot more pleasant. So that's a big difference there. But really, mostly you can see like my hand is like not even making a dent in the chair. So that's what I would recommend. The raspberry is so pretty. I have it as a small barrel, Steven. Great color. You know what color I want though? There is a purple. What's the color called? I wrote it down. I have to get it from Naga Hide to actually that made. Maybe I will figure that out for my high chair pillow. Oh, it's like a plum, so it's like purple and pink mixed together. But the raspberry is a good medium. I like it. Good. Okay, guys, this is great. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for your amazing questions. Keep them in the keep putting them in the comments below. We'll go live. We'll continue to go live throughout the year, even on tour. The tour times might change a little bit, but we don't go on tour until after December 5th. So don't like change this time. I also have a fun surprise for you coming up at the end of this month. So you do not want to miss the last live of the month. Mark your calendars. It's going to be really, really fun. And also so get a tour ticket. For my Europeans, I'll be in Brussels and Poland in March. And then you can go to xxll.co/Poland or same thing, xxll.co/Brussels to get tickets for that. I think the early bird for Brussels is still going on for a limited time. And then not announced, watch that space for the early bird of Pilates on tour. I will be at that event in London, my last time in England for a bit. So watch out for those things. All right. Thanks so much, guys. See you later. Bye.